There's an ancient legend in the hills of Welsh about a twist of fate. It seems many years ago, King John gave his son a special hunting hound, and the hound was called Gelert. And the young man loved this hound. He was trained and he was fantastic. Prince Llewellyn really enjoyed hunting. And with Gelert by his side, they did so well. When his friends hunted with him, they always knew that Gelert was going to be fantastic, was going to give them a good hunt. Well, as time goes by in a person's life, there are other loves in your life. First love was Gelert, and then he met a young lady, and she became the love of his life. And he married her. So now he had Gelert and his lovely wife, and in due time, they produced a son. So he had 3 special things in his life. And when he had a chance, he still went hunting. And one day, there was a special merchant area and marketplace, and many of his servants asked leave to go. And they did, and his wife went. And that left the baby to be taken care of. And if you think back in ancient times, a room would be it's sparsely furnished. A baby cradle, and maybe a few pieces of other furniture, but not much. Well, they didn't have many servants. So Llewellyn had to make a decision. And he said, Gelert, stay, guard. Now, Gelert had always liked the baby and was very protective of the child, but he wanted to go to this hunt. So his tail was between his legs, and he obeyed his master, and he stayed in the doorway while the others went out on their hunt. But without Gelert, the hunt was not as successful. So hours later, as they came back, there was Gelert in the doorway. And as they approached, they were stunned because Gelert's muzzle seemed to be red. And the closer they came, they could see it was dripping. It was blood. Oh my Lord! And they rushed into the hold, and there in the room where the baby was, the cradle was overturned. There was bedding all around, and spots of blood. And the first servant said, oh my Lord, Gelert! And of course, most of the people were thinking Gelert, in jealousy of the baby, had attacked the baby, killed it, perhaps ate it. But Llewellyn didn't know what to say. His baby, his heir, his son. And he looked at the dog, and this all was taking seconds. And he drew his sword, and he said, oh, you unfaithful cur! And stabbed it in his heart. And as Gelert was drawing the dying breath, he looked up as if to say, why? Why? And about the same time, as Prince Llewellyn was sadly withdrawing his sword, they heard a cry of a baby, a sound. And they rushed over to this big cradle, lifted it up, and there, among the soiled blankets and all the blood, lay a perfectly safe baby clutching the fur of a giant wolf that Gelert had killed. And then the story became clear that while there weren't servants around, a wolf had come in, and the baby looked as easy prey until Gelert fought it. Llewellyn was horrified. He clutched his baby. He was so glad his child was alive. But Gelert, his faithful hound, his companion for years, and he killed it. And the hound had been the hero. So he took the hound, and he went out to one of the Welsh mountainsides, and he built a grave for it. And he put rocks, and he built a cairn. And that grave is called Beth Gelert, meaning the grave of Gelert. And I'm told if you were in Wales and in the right area, you can see that grave to this very day.